Game number 2, starting to the top right now. In blue is Liquid Snute, die Schnute, die Alte. And starting to the bottom left, we currently have Polt, Terran player with a 1-0 lead here at the finals. We have a 1-0 lead for him. 1-0 lead currently for him in this series. And a crazy game, a really good game that we had on the last match, so that was actually like really enjoyable. I liked it quite a bit. That was pretty awesome. I mean, as an opening game into the series, hell yeah, I am so in. So I would like to see a few more games like this. So let's see what exactly Snute is going to plan for game number 2. This is a best of 5. And this is also a really good matchup for Snute, but Polt is such an incredible player that he was able to edge out a victory in game number 1 quite easily. Also keep in mind that one of the things that plays a bit of a role here is that it's already 4 AM in the morning, and funny as it is, it affects the European player since Snute is currently the one living in Korea, whereas Polt is in the US. So yeah, that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind there too. Of course, there's no surprise of seeing what Polt is doing here. Polt is going into the refinery once again. He wants to open up with Reapers. Always opening up with Reapers, and it works quite well for him. So why ever change a running system? There is no reason, absolutely none at all. And from then on, he can just take it. This is one of those maps where it can be really aggressive. It's a smaller map. Neoplanet S has been around for a little bit ever since Casper introduced it to Pro League. And on this map there is a lot of potential for aggression that you can use. We have the spawning pool here. Oh, by the way, this is exactly what I talked about earlier. He's going into hatch first and then into spawning pool. So he's not building the pool first, which he did in game number 1, because he was trying to sneak Zerglings into the natural and take down the building command center. So it's just the thing that he tries to do occasionally, but it's not his standard build. So exactly what we mentioned earlier. Him reacting a little bit, trying to just cater a little bit towards the best of 5 character of this game. That's always something that you have to keep in mind. In a best of 5, you always have to cheese a little bit. You always have to mix a few tricks in and now and then, so that you can have a bit of an idea here. So right now we have the Overlords just trying to get into position, and to the top right we see that the Zerg is still adding a couple of Zerglings here just to deal with the Reapers and also find out, of course, what's going on. No gas just yet, but Reaper heading into the main base, and let's see. Trying to do a little bit of damage here against the Harvesters, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. As soon as the Queen is out, there's no problem anymore for Snute whatsoever to deal with this. There's only one Reaper. It's not like Paul is heavily committing to this. We have him with the factory once again right next to the barracks, of course. The add-on will be started fairly soon, and we see the command center on the low ground with one Reaper guarding it. And this is just Paul saying, you know, I've seen you do this twice. You did this to Cass, you did this to me in the last game. This time I will be ready with the Reaper, so if you send Zerglings over to cancel my command center, it is not gonna work. I love how this is already affecting the mind games between the two players, that they are really thinking about what they're doing in this series, reacting to what they saw in the last game and trying to adjust their builds accordingly. It's pretty awesome. Snute once more with his double queen, well, double set of queens, so 4 in total. And we might still see a roach push here. I mentioned in the last game that it looked a bit like the roach push Jan likes to execute on 3 bases with a +1/+1. Getting this gas out now, we could still see this happening. Polt needs a bit of a break here. For some reason, not quite sure what's going on with him, but we're gonna find out right now if this is gonna be a bigger issue or if there was just a ring at the door. So for now what we see for him is going tech into Stargate already. So he goes into Hellions. We don't have any kind of siege tanks to cater to a potential roach aggression, even roach baneling, and we also don't see him do anything else like fancy with Widow Mines. We have on the other hand Snute to the top right, currently at 42 supply, without a third base. and he is not starting his tech just yet. We have him with a double extractor just now, and therefore we should see him on roughly 100 gas for the lair tech once that we reach 7 minutes in the game. And the Queens here, of course, not only able to do anything, like a lot against Hellions, but they will also be able to just do a lot in terms of creep spreading. You want to get the creep out as fast as possible, especially on a map like Neoplanet, as you can go a lot with creep spread. A lot of pathways that you want to have secured, where you have where you do want to have vision with your creep tumors. And to the bottom left of the map, we have now the first Viking being built. And of course here at 6:30 already, the tech into lair. So a little bit faster than we saw it the last time. And let's see what kind of timing he's trying to hit here. We don't have the evolution chambers there just yet, and he also doesn't have the roach warren. If he wants to go for roach timing, he needs to start that fairly soon. So that it lines up well with his build. He would usually also try to get the speed upgrade, but right now he's playing like a super greedy build. If he drops the third and the fourth gas in the natural, we could also see him go straight into Mutalisk, but now with the added double evolution chamber and the roach warren here, it looks more and more like we might see a roach timing. Depends all on what kind of upgrades he's going to go for with evolution chamber. We saw him win the last game, also just killed a few roaches here just to be on the safe side, and then transitioning later on into more of a Ling heavy style with Banelings. But he has several options here, so this is one of those situations where he has to make a decision, and we have the roach push. He's going for the roach push. This is very much the timing on 2 bases, and once again, I covered a lot of these builds on my YouTube channel. The 2-base timing and the 3-base timing, you can check that out on youtube.com/KhaldorTV. There's a playlist with the builds, and you will find this build there as well. Going into the +1, and then having a massive amount of roaches. He needs to start speed, not right away, but he needs to line it up, and there it is. Speed has been started, and from this point on out, we will see only roaches for him. He's getting more and more of them. He should also get a few additional overlords, but the roach amount that he has is already really strong. I really like the sneaky third at the bottom right of the map. That's something that will help him a lot. Starting to the bottom left with the third command center, Polt doesn't really have a lot that caters against roaches. Widow mines are cute, but against a huge amount of roaches, they don't do anything. The Marauder, on the other hand, that's a little bit of a different story. That can do quite a lot of damage, and we still have him being supply blocked. Look at the minerals here. I think he had a bit of a brain fart and forgot the overlord. Look at the resources. 600 and 400 gas. Think about how many roaches he would have if that would have been roaches. He's going into a 4th base behind this, but I don't think that this was the original idea. I very much think that he forgot the overlords here and is now hitting this timing with +1/+1, not nearly as strong as it could be. Might be wrong, of course, but this looks like he made a bit of a mistake there. And he can't be too happy about this, and of course he cannot build the roaches now. It's already too late, so he has to transition out of this, and with the 4th base he can do it. But he has been scouted. At the bottom right, his opponent saw already what's happening here. The roach is now just knocking at the front door. Knock, knock, knocking on Polt's door. Ooh, aye. Not doing any damage whatsoever, but still forcing the Terran player to respond and to play a bit more defensive. The 4th base has also been scouted though, and let's see how Snute. Oh, the Korean barbecue! Oh, he's losing a lot of the harvesters, not as many as he could have. Well, yeah, he's losing as many as he could have. 22 harvesters have already been toasted. Oh my god. This is not... yeah, that is not good. Not at all. 60 harvesters still, but the Hellions definitely doing a good amount of damage, and that was very unfortunate for Storm. Oh, yeah, that was... yeah, you don't want to transfer your drones over to your 3rd or 4th when you're running into a few Hellions. They are lining up so well, and then you have just Korean barbecue everywhere and toasted meat. To the bottom left, we have now the roaches streaming in, and maybe he can get a few of the SCVs, but the Marauders are already chasing down the roaches, and he wants to get revenge. Revenge for the drones. And yeah, well, not really gonna happen here. So Polt is still behind in overall supply, but he has a very nice task force. He has the 1/1 upgrades ready. He's going into +2/+2. And with the +2/+2, he will also get those upgrades a little bit faster. You can really see that... I have to ask Snute in the break, but I really think he fucked up the timing earlier. You can see him transition now into the +1 attack upgrade for the Zerglings, and that just shows that he planned to go for a massive timing here earlier, and he couldn't hit that. It's just sad for him. But still, he's not out of it yet. He's going into the Hive Tech, and Polt has to be careful here because he's up against the Zerg player that has 4 bases, and Polt is once again refusing to drop. And this is the weakness that Snute definitely has with his play. Polt is not doing it though. He's a very straightforward player with his attacks. He has great macro, he has great micro, so he can really hit his production cycles very well, can macro it up back at home and then set up good positioning again with his Widow Mines against his opponent's bases. But Snute is now still a player who can take this game. He's moving in and trying to make this happen. The Widow Mines are there, getting good hits against the Zerglings here and also against the Roaches. There are even more Marauders. The healing power of the Medivacs just turning the tide of the battle here. And Lair is nearly completed into Hive, so then he could go straight for Vipers and also for the Ultralisks, of course, that he eventually wants to get here. Lings have to be careful here. Oh, buddy, if you stick around too long, you will lose all of your Zerglings. That was a close call here. Moving them back at the last moment possible. And here comes the Ultralisk Cavern. But the bank is not as high as you would want. I cannot believe that he doesn't take the gas here. No gas taken at the 3rd, no gas taken at the 4th, and that kind of baffles me a bit. He has a huge amount of bank in minerals, but he's lacking gas, so why not take those extractors? I think he forgot about this. He's so occupied with this pressure play that he's trying to push onto Polt that he does not see that he's lacking those extractors. He's now getting there, getting the extra gas, and then he can get those Ultralisks out, but for now he really has to play very Zergling heavy. Finally a drop by Polt, moving in, but only one, not hitting the rest of the bases, but at least he's trying to move in here and do a bit of damage. He sees that this is one of the things that he can do. The one thing that Polt is lacking a little bit, I don't know how to explain it. He has a good macro game, but his multitasking is a little bit off. Whereas you see so many players, Bomber and other Terrans, let's say Innovation, push and at the same time drop, and just even with a stim A move in. You don't see Polt do that. He's doing the main battle and then he's sending the units in a little bit too late. What I like in this game now is though that Snute is trying to play a little bit more cautious, and especially with his Infestor play, he is trying to save them, and he's always trying to just get those fungals out there. That was epic. What a beautiful move, baiting those Widow Mines with the Infested Terrans after funneling the units into position. That was amazing, that helped him so much. But Polt is now in a 50 supply lead and is also trying to do damage at the front. This is exactly what we talked about earlier. These 2 frontal attacks that he's now executing at Snute. And Snute is struggling against this, especially since his forces are just spread out so thin. He's trying to defend this 4th base, but he's also just trying to make something happen up here. Widow Mine hits everywhere. Snute still in a supply deficit. The drop here at the top not being used just yet, but now he's stimming it in. And at the bottom, he's just dropping behind his opponent's mineral line down to the bottom right at the 4th base. So much aggression. The pool is gone. No, the pool is not gone. He lost something else over here. But he's losing Infestors. He's losing a few units, especially Zerglings here. And of course also Jones. Snute is barreling down at the 3rd base, but he's also losing his 4th and he's losing the main. Once again, the GG by the Zerg here, and Polt takes a 2-0 lead in the best of 5.